Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you don't already know, myself and the rest of the Source Automotive Parts team, we're gonna be boosting that 318 in the Dart, the big fat eBay Cummins turbo. And if you know anything about boosting a car in general, you know that fuel delivery is everything. So today, it's all about that carburetor. For all the hot riding dads out there, I'm sure this clip resonates with you all. You know, my son's only 3 years old at the moment, so he can't help me out with the projects, but he still loves hanging out with dad in the shop. All right, everybody. Now, tearing apart a carburetor is pretty straightforward. You know, as long as you maintain the parts where they're supposed to be, it's going to be pretty easy putting it back together. It may seem complex at first if you haven't done it before, but trust me, it's pretty easy. This one here is a Holley 750 double pumper. It took me a while to figure it out because the last owner actually ground down the choke tower. You can see the markings there. A lot of people would do this back in the day, that they'd get, you know, a couple horses extra. And of course, anything is worth doing for us hot rodders. So normally the identification number for the carburetor is on that choke tower. So I had to kind of look at all the parts individually and really understand what carburetor it had. So I've got a 750 double pumper. I was able to tell by looking at the numbers on the metering plates here and here, as well as the throttle plate. And there are some stamps here on the throttle body itself. So if you didn't know those parts, the only other major parts we have are going to be the bowls here and there. You get your floats, a couple valves. But where I'm at right now, everything's really dirty. So you can look at some of the pictures, you'll see a lot of the dirt build up in there. Just looking on the throttle body, you can see a lot of carbon built up. The vortex is there. You can see the throttle plates have some buildup on it. So one of the things that I like to do with carburetors, and if anybody else has done this in the past, you'll know it works extremely well. Instead of spending 60 bucks on a solution to soak your carb and clean it, just go get some Pine Sol. So one of the things that I've got here I'm gonna do is I've got some Pine Sol, you know, $5, super cheap and easy. I've got a little bit of water in this bucket here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix it in about a 50-50 ratio, and then I'm gonna let all the parts in the carburetor soak for about 3-4 hours. We'll come back, clean it up with a toothbrush, and be ready to rebuild it. All right, it's the next day. This has been sitting overnight. You can already see some of the big differences here. Where the grind was lighter, it's looking a lot better. Got an old toothbrush, and I'm gonna start scrubbing away. I'm gonna be rebuilding it with this Holley kit here I got on Amazon. Holley brand, it was 50 bucks, so it was on sale. That's their trick kit. It's pretty much got everything I need to get this back to normal operation. Now, a really important thing to note here is that I used a ton of WD-40 and carb cleaner while rebuilding this carb. I did that because they displace moisture, and you don't want any of that water left inside the carb when you put it back together. So here it is, completely done. It's nice and clean. It's got a fresh rebuild on it. Ready to go back on top of that 318. Now, it's a 750, and we're putting it on a 318. In all honesty, if we weren't going to be boosting this, that would be way too big. You know, 750 belongs on a big block, really, unless you're really pushing the 318 with like 13-to-1 compression. You know, we're not doing that. We're not changing the compression on this. We're just throwing that big eBay Cummins turbo on it. Because we are going to be boosting it, though, the extra fuel is going to be definitely needed. So a 750 with what we're doing on this 318 on that eBay Turbo is going to be a perfect match. So now that I've got it rebuilt, cleaned up, it's ready to go, we're going to be tackling the rest of the fuel system. I'm excited to see what's in that gas tank next.